What happens when a football club stops building for the next match and starts building for the next 5 years all at once? Not one wonder kid, not two, an entire squad of them. Chelsea have collected attackers, midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers, teenagers, breakout stars, expensive risks, and players who look like they were signed for a version of Chelsea that does not fully exist yet. And that is what makes this Chelsea team so fascinating. Because on paper, their future 11 is terrifying. Cole Palmer between the lines, Enzo Fernandez controlling passes, Moises Caicedo destroying attacks before they start, Joao Pedro leading the line, Estevao arriving with superstar potential, Jamie Gittins, Pedro Neto, Liam Delap, Mark Guiu, Andri Santos, Dario Isugo, Joao Pedro, Levi Colwill, Reece James, and a whole list of players who could become something serious. But here is the problem. Talent is not the same thing as a team, and Chelsea might have built one of the scariest young squads in Europe, or one of the most expensive puzzles football has ever seen. This is the story of Chelsea's future 11, why it could terrify the Premier League, and why the whole thing only works if the pieces finally connect. So picture this. Chelsea are not just trying to fix one position. They are not just trying to sign a striker or a winger or a midfielder. They have basically tried to buy an entire future before anyone knows exactly what that future is supposed to look like. And that is why fans argue about them so much. Some people look at Chelsea and see chaos. Too many players, too many contracts, too many young talents all fighting for the same minutes. But other people look at Chelsea and see something completely different. They see a club that decided to attack the market before everyone else could. Buy the talent early, lock it down, let the players grow together. And if even half of them hit their ceiling, suddenly Chelsea do not just have a good squad. They have a squad that could become frightening. That is the gamble. Because when you build with young players, you are not only buying what they are, you are buying what they might become. And Chelsea have bought a lot of might. Estevao might become a superstar. Gittins might become one of the most dangerous wide players in England. Joao Pedro might become the complete modern forward. Delap might become the physical striker option they have missed. Andri Santos and Isugo might become the next midfield rotation pieces. Hado, Colwill, Sarr, Akampong, Fofana, Reece James, Gusto. If that defensive group develops and stays fit, the back line could be ridiculous. But that word keeps coming back. If they develop, if they stay fit, if they get minutes, if the manager finds the right balance, if Chelsea stop looking like a collection of talented players and start looking like one team, that is where the story really begins. Every great team needs a spine, not just stars, a spine, a goalkeeper who gives the back line confidence, center backs who can defend space, midfielders who can survive pressure, a creator who can decide matches, a forward who turns good football into goals. For Chelsea, the future spine starts with the midfield. Enzo Fernandez gives them passing range. He can switch play, break lines, and make the pitch feel bigger. When Chelsea are calm, Enzo is usually part of the reason. Then there is Moises Caicedo. And Caicedo might be the most important piece in the entire project, because with this many attacking players, somebody has to clean up the mess. Somebody has to win second balls. Somebody has to stop counters. Somebody has to make the team feel less fragile. That is Caicedo's job. And ahead of them is Cole Palmer. Palmer changed the entire feeling around Chelsea because he gave them something every young team desperately needs, a player who can make sense of chaos. When the game gets messy, Palmer can slow it down. When Chelsea looks stuck, he can find the pass, the touch, the finish, the little pause that makes defenders panic. He is not just another attacking midfielder. He is the player who makes the whole project feel possible. But here is the catch. A spine only works if the pieces around it know their roles. If Enzo is too deep, Chelsea can lose creativity. If Caicedo is isolated, Chelsea can get stretched. If Palmer has to do everything, the attack becomes too dependent on one player. So the future 11 is not just about picking the best names. It is about building the right structure around them. And that is where Chelsea's attack starts to look dangerous. This is where Chelsea fans start dreaming, because the attacking options are not normal. You have Cole Palmer, the coldest player in the final third. You have Joao Pedro, who can play as a striker, link play, drop into pockets, and still finish chances. You have Pedro Neto, direct, sharp, left-footed, dangerous when he can attack space. You have Jamie Gittins, a winger who wants to run at defenders. You have Estevao, one of those talents who makes people watch clips before he has even fully arrived. You have Liam Delap, a different profile entirely, more physical, more direct, more of a box presence. Then Mark Guiu, another young forward profile still developing. That is not just depth, that is variety, and variety matters. Because the best attacks are not dangerous because every player does the same thing. They are dangerous because every player asks a different question. Palmer asks, who is picking me up between the lines? Neto asks, can your fullback defend me one-on-one? Gittins asks, what happens if I keep attacking the outside and inside all game? Joao Pedro asks, do your center backs follow me when I drop or stay and let me turn? Delap asks, can you handle power? Estevao asks, what if the most unpredictable player on the pitch is still only beginning? That is terrifying, but only if Chelsea can make it coherent, because too much attacking talent can become a problem. If everyone wants the ball to feet, nobody runs behind. If everyone wants to start, somebody sits. If every winger needs development minutes, there are not enough minutes to go around. This is the part people forget. The future 11 looks incredible on a graphic, but football is not a graphic. Football is timing, chemistry, roles, movement, trust, and Chelsea still have to prove they can turn all of that talent into a real attacking machine. Here is where it gets complicated. Chelsea's biggest strength could also become their biggest problem, because when you have this many young players, development is not automatic. You cannot just collect talent and expect it to level up by itself. Some players need games, some need patience, some need protection, some need a clear role, some need to fail for 6 months before they explode. And at Chelsea, patience is not always easy. The shirt is heavy. Fans expect results. The media watches every mistake. And the manager has to win while also developing half the squad. That is a brutal balance. Take the attack. If Palmer plays centrally, where does Joao Pedro fit? If Joao Pedro plays as the striker, what happens to Delap? If Neto is fit, does Gittins start? If Estevao is ready faster than expected, who loses minutes? If Mark Guiu needs game time, where does it come from? And the same thing happens in midfield. Enzo and Caicedo feel like the obvious base. But then what about André Santos? What about Dario Isugo? What about the next academy player coming through? What about tactical changes when Chelsea need more control, more power, or more defensive cover? That is the puzzle. And at the back, it is not much simpler. Reece James, Malo Gusto, Levi Colwill, Wesley Fofana, Tosin Adarabioyo, Benoit Badiashile, Joral Hado, Mamadou Sarr, Josh Akampong, Trevoh Chalobah. Chelsea have pieces everywhere. But future potential does not defend a set piece. It does not organize a high line. It does not stop a counterattack in the 89th minute. That is why the next stage of Chelsea's project is not buying talent. It is choosing who starts, choosing who grows together, choosing who fits the identity, choosing who becomes the core, and who becomes just another expensive name that never quite found a place. So what does the terrifying version actually look like? Starting goal, and Chelsea still have a question. Robert Sanchez has experience. Philip Jorgensen gives them another option. But if you are building a future 11, the goalkeeper has to become more than a shot stopper. He has to help the team play, control space, and calm the back line. At right back, if Reece James is fit, he is still one of the most complete fullbacks in the country. But that if is huge. That is why Malo Gusto matters so much. He gives Chelsea a real alternative, not just a backup. At center back, Levi Colwill feels like one of the players Chelsea will want to build around. Left-footed, composed, modern, comfortable defending big spaces. Next to him, the future could be Fofana if fitness holds, or Hado, or Sarr, or one of the other young defenders pushing into the picture. On the left, Chelsea have options again. The point is not just who plays there. The point is that the squad has been built with layers. Then midfield, Caicedo as the destroyer, Enzo as the passer. And then the question, who is the third piece? Is it Palmer as a number 10? Is it André Santos developing into a serious option? Is it Isugo giving them legs and bite? Is it a different tactical shape depending on the match? This is where Chelsea can become scary. Because if Caicedo protects everything, Enzo controls everything, and Palmer creates everything, the rest of the team can attack with freedom. Then the front line. Imagine a version where Estevao becomes what people think he can become. Imagine Gittins on one side, Estevao on the other, Palmer floating behind Joao Pedro, or Neto stretching the pitch, or Delap giving them power through the middle, or Joao Pedro dropping off and letting runners fly beyond him. That is the dream. A Chelsea team that can beat you with dribbling, speed, creativity, pressing, passing, and depth. But the dream version only exists if the manager finds the right combination, because the names are exciting. The chemistry is the real test. If this works, Chelsea are not just building a good team. They are building a team with years in front of it. That is the scary part. Most clubs build a peak and then have to replace it. Chelsea are trying to build the peak before the players even reach it. They are trying to have the core ready before the rest of the league realizes what it has become. If Palmer keeps growing, he becomes the face of the project. If Caicedo and Enzo become a stable midfield base, Chelsea can control big matches. If Joao Pedro keeps producing, the striker problem starts to look different. If Estevao explodes, Chelsea suddenly have one of the most exciting young attackers in Europe. If Gittins, Neto, Delap, Santos, Esugo, Hato, Caldwell, Gusto, James, Fofana, Sarr, and the rest of the young group all find roles, then Chelsea's depth becomes terrifying. But if it does not work, then it becomes the same old question. Too many players, too many profiles, too many expensive bets, too much noise, not enough clarity. That is why this Chelsea team is so interesting. They are not boring, they are not safe, they are not normal. They are a giant football experiment happening in real time. And every season the question gets louder. Are Chelsea building the next great team, or are they just collecting the players another great team would have known how to use? Because Chelsea's future 11 is terrifying, but only if it works.